Bejeweled. Many haven't heard of this game, and yet it made such an influence in gaming. The game is just a simple match 3, where you drag gems of the same colour to create a match of 3. Gems are destroyed, new colours fall from the top. This concept is simple, but it would develop over the years. It would develop over the years into a franchise that makes Match 3 its own genre, and inspires other brands to make their own Match 3 franchises. So how did it all start? Bejeweled. Developed by PopCap Games and founded by John Vivici, Brian Fiat, Jason Kapalka, and started the new Bejeweled series in 2001. At first, the game was bland, and the only thing going for it was the colourful graphics, and yet it got so much attention. 10 million copies sold, and been downloaded 315 million times. The funds from that led to the Zuma series, and Bookworm, though they are less known titles by PopCap. Bejeweled's success got PopCap to make a sequel to the series with Bejeweled 2 in 2004. More game modes than the original, more futuristic graphics, and more features that made the game so much more appealing to its audience. The soundtracks were another thing. This is Peter Hyber, video game music expert working for Future Crew, the composer for the music in Bejeweled. And what kind of method did you use to compress so much music in such a small space?
There's two ways. Tracker music is basically, it's not a recording of music, it just has instruments like samples, and then it has note data. So if you make the song longer, you just add notes. Notes are very small, it's like a text file. So you can make the music a whole lot longer using the same instruments, and it doesn't make the file size any bigger. And then on top of that, the ML3 encoding takes those samples to shrink their size to about 10% of the original size. And so when it loads the song and starts playing it, it unpacks those samples. So the memory footprint is still big, but the file size is small, and that is great when downloading mobile games. That was in the very early 2000s.
And it wasn't just the music, the whole game was small, making it easy to install and therefore more fit for a larger audience. Because you didn't need a decent computer to run this thing, it was just a simple 2D game, so it could easily run on a decade-old computer. But even better, it even ran on the old family laptop, which was really underpowered, especially from back in the day, but it still runs. But then, going further back, and it runs on Windows 98. With 25 million copies sold and been downloaded 1 billion times, it was another successful hit. After that, it was spin-offs like Bejeweled Twist and Blitz, where Twist changed the standard drag mechanic and instead had, as the name inferred, that it is a twist instead, where you rotate the gems around in a 2x2 circle to make matches. There were bonus features like the lock gems, which couldn't move, or the coal, which was unmatchable with any colour, or the bomb gem that exploded. It had a plethora of challenge game modes, which would be the concept for the quest mode in Bejeweled 3. And not to forget the 3D graphics, which at the time was futuristic. Twist ultimately brought a whole new concept to Match 3. Fast forward to 2010 and Bejeweled Blitz was released, which was Bejeweled 3 but Blitz mode only, used for connecting with Facebook to make high scores public. But then later that same year in 2010, Bejeweled 3 was released. With new game modes, better graphics, and new soundtracks, PopCap developed the franchise by including new features while keeping old ones, like the poker mode to get users addicted in new ways. By this time, Bejeweled got so much fame, brands took inspiration and made their own Match 3 franchises, like the Seven Wonders franchise and Jewel Quest.
Yeah, the lightning mode, the music is playing in a loop. It has a few stages, but it basically just plays in a loop. But as the countdown goes down, the game increases the tempo of the music, so it just keeps getting faster and faster. And then there is a number of additional channels in the tracker song, just additional notes. When you're very low on time, the bass melody tracks are muted, the low out of time channels are unmuted. And that's how you get this panicked sound once you're getting close to the out of time. Then in Bejeweled Twist, the length of the timed mode was set beforehand. So they had this 5-minute mode, I believe. So I could just make the music exactly 5 minutes long and make it so that when it's close to the end, it starts getting these more intense parts. So I could match it exactly. But the problem with the Bejeweled 3 lightning mode was that the timer would kind of change. It would sometimes get a bit of few extra seconds, and sometimes you would lose them. So you could not have a set length for the music because it kept changing constantly. That's why it was better to use this kind of procedural approach.
The average player does not think about these limitations developers had to overcome. PopCap could have made another set time mode and set the music, but instead went the extra mile. It just goes to show how much the developers value their player base to make the music so seamlessly infinite to fit the time. Bejeweled 3 was the golden age of PopCap games. The entire franchise had reached 15 million copies sold, and more than 1 billion downloads according to Google. It was all going well. And then EA bought PopCap, then released Plants vs Zombies and sequels to previous games. From then on, it was mostly just cash grabs. Ever since Bejeweled 3, there wasn't anything new, apart from Classic and Stars, which are just terrible mobile ports. Classic constantly crashes, Blitz doesn't even load. Stars uses Unity and you can't multi-swap anymore. Then there is Dijeweled, which is a fan-made game by Dinos, also the community manager of the Bejeweled Discord server, with an active community to this day. What impact do you think Bejeweled as a whole had impacted the Match 3 genre?
I think there is no denying that Bejeweled is probably, it's probably the king of the Match 3 games, in my opinion at least. Even though it wasn't the very first Match 3 game, it is the main driver of the Match 3 games' initial popularity. I think they truly outdid themselves in terms of gameplay, and the genre advanced with new strategies, methods to play, and of course new ways to have fun.
So, what inspired you to make Dijeweled?
Well, first and foremost, I've always been interested in game development. I wanted to create at least one game in an engine. I tried all different game engines. I found GameMaker to be the best. I wanted to make a Bejeweled fun game because it seemed like the easiest and the most fun game that I could create. I wanted to implement some of my ideas for it. The fact that PopCap stopped releasing any new Bejeweled games motivated me even more to start working on my fun game. So yeah, that's all.
In conclusion, Bejeweled was influential because of its success, it being so ubiquitous and fitting such a large audience from its atmosphere and simplicity. It got users addicted and inspired other creators to make their take on a Match 3 game. But despite Bejeweled's success, the world moves on, with Candy Crush now leading the Match 3 legacy. The major downside is the lack of compatibility for Bejeweled games on modern operating systems. And you can't even run incompatibility modes because it is tied to the hardware, which means if you wanted to play Bejeweled Twist this second, you would have to get an actual computer from its days to be able to play it. I, however, have that luxury, but many people don't. You see, the majority of people don't keep their old PCs because they are becoming slow, insecure, and unreliable. So what's the point? Getting a new PC is the best option. These were once great games, and even if Bejeweled 3 runs on Windows 10, it is still stuck in an awkward resolution due to graphics driver issues. And while you can add a patch to fix it, Most people don't have that technical knowledge, or they just don't have the time for that, which is a big letdown on PopCap's side. But there is still an active community who are dedicated to Bejeweled. With the game so simple, yet so impactful on gaming, it is like Half-Life's impact on the FPS genre, with Half-Life having its own franchise with the inspiration being Doom. Like how Shiriki was the inspiration to Bejeweled. But that is the rise and fall of Bejeweled. The Bejeweled community deems Bejeweled 3 being the best out of all Bejeweled titles. PopCap couldn't make anything better than Bejeweled 3, because Bejeweled 3 was already the timeless masterpiece. So with the lack of Bejeweled titles released by PopCap, and the lack of support for Bejeweled games, Bejeweled died. Thanks to RubyCord for helping me with the Bejeweled community, Eldinos for sharing their experience making a fan game, and for Peter Hyber for sharing their expertise in game music. I hope you all enjoyed, and until PopCap makes a new Bejeweled title, I guess I'll end it here for the Bejeweled timeline. Goodbye. And also, you are one person, so you were the only person working on the project. There was no one else.
No, aside from some contributions, it's only me.
Did you compose the soundtracks for the game?
Yeah, it's all mine.
Oh, that's cool.
The whole idea of the Zen game mode was that it's just endless. You never run out of moves, you always have chance to go forward. It's just a relaxing activity to play the game in an easy mode forever. They also wanted to experiment with some binaural beats in the Zen mode now, but they did just play binaural beats instead of the music to calm you. And there's been theories that however it might work, that slightly different pitches playing in your ears, and because they're slightly out of pitch, they are like phasing with each other, and it creates this kind of a pulse. When you listen to that on headphones, it supposedly triggers alpha waves in your brain or something like that. But if you just Google for binaural...
No, nice. Oh, we have a blue room too. Nice.
Oh yeah. Wait, you have the same blue room?
Kinda.
Oh yeah, sort of the same color. Sort of the same ceiling as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And oddly the same white shelves.
No, I don't think so. That would be too weird.